Hello everybody, welcome to Filmmaking Today. Boya and Dulabic here. So, are you looking for a 3-in-1 camera gimbal? Stay tuned. Alright guys, before we begin, just some housekeeping items. This product was sent to me by Gudsen, which is the company behind the Moza products. They sent this to me free of charge. However, they're not reviewing this video before it's being uploaded, and all the opinions you're gonna hear are my own. So, let's begin. And this is the Moza Mini P by Gudsen, which is a 3-in-1 gimbal, and it's actually pretty interesting. It allows you to put on smaller cameras up to 900 grams, cell phones, and action cameras. And now let's take a closer look at the hardware. So on the left side you have a on-off button, you have a USB Type-C connector, in the middle there's a joystick, a shutter button, and 4 function buttons. And on the right side, there is a zoom in and zoom out button. On the gimbal itself, there is a 3-axis lock that will help you to balance your camera as best as possible. Now let's take a look at the 4 function buttons in the middle. For the top one, if you press it once, it will open up the menu, and if you press it twice, you can switch between video and photo mode, and if you long press it for 3 seconds, you can switch to the front camera or the rear camera on your phone. If you press the right button once, you can enter the photo playback mode, and if you press it again, you can return to the camera. And if you long press the button, it will start and stop advanced time-lapse shooting. And for the down button, if you double press it, it will enter sports mode, and if you triple press it, it will enter inception mode. And for the left button, if you press it twice, it will enter FPV mode, and if you press it twice again, it will exit. And here we have the trigger button, and if you double press it, it will recenter the gimbal. If you press once and hold, it will switch to tilt follow, and if you double press and hold, it will switch to all locked. And this is what the gimbal looks like when it's all locked. And then this is what it looks like when it's completely folded together. And as you can see, it is a pretty small gimbal. And here's what it looks like next to my camera. And my Olympus camera is a pretty small camera, so this will give you an idea of how tiny this thing is. You shouldn't have any problems fitting this in most smaller camera bags. Now let's take a look at how this gimbal performs with a phone. Now here I have a very cheap Android phone, so there's no stabilization, nothing. The picture doesn't really look that great, and as you can see, it is very shaky. Now let's take a look at what it looks like when I put the phone onto the gimbal. So here's what it looks like with the phone on the gimbal. I mean, it is a significant improvement. And like I said, this phone is not great. There is no built-in stabilization whatsoever, but as you can see, it definitely turns the phone into something extremely usable. Alright guys, so I'm outside right now. I got this guy right here. That's all I have, just this very simple setup. I'm using my 14mm pancake lens, and I got the sun hood on here, and I do have an ND filter attached as well, and that's about it. So yeah, let's get some shots and see how that works out. First, let's take a look at the remote operation of this gimbal. With the Moza Master app, you can operate this gimbal and you can get some pretty cool shots remotely, like I'm doing right here. The operation is pretty smooth and allows you to get some really cool and unique shots. You can also use this guy for vlogging for sure. It is extremely lightweight and you shouldn't have any problems carrying it for a long time. Some shots of the 2 ducks over there. Let's see how close I can get. I'm just on regular mode. Alright guys, so let's talk more about this gimbal. All in all, I think it's a pretty sweet gimbal. Considering it's $200 US and it's a 3-in-1, you are getting actually quite a lot here. So let's talk about a couple of things here. First of all, I use this with my Micro Four Thirds cameras, right? I obviously use it with my phone to test it out and all that stuff, but I was primarily interested in the camera, how far I can push this. Now Gudsen advertises this guy as being able to hold 900 grams of weight, right? So that's going to eliminate some shooters right there. If you are a full frame camera user, not going to work. If you are a DSLR crop sensor camera user, probably not going to work. But if you are a Micro Four Thirds or obviously point and shoot, this is definitely going to work for you. It worked with most of my lenses. So I shot all the stuff you saw here with my 14mm pancake lens. Worked fine. Together they are probably 700 grams or so, somewhere around there. But I've used it with my other lenses. I've used it with my kit lens, my Panasonic 12 to 60 mil lens, my 25 mil f1.4 lens, Panasonic, which is definitely a bit heavier. So it worked with most of my lenses, which is excellent. The one thing where it struggled when I was pushing the 900 grams was inception mode, right? So if I didn't balance it properly, and you really have to balance it very, very well for the inception mode if you are pushing the 900 grams, right? If not, it will jitter a little bit as it's moving, right? Which, again, it's to be expected. It's, you know, you are pushing the limits, and also this is a pre-release model. I've had this guy for a while now, right? So some of those kinks may have been fixed in the the final release. Not sure, but if not, that's something to keep in mind. I wouldn't push it if you want to use inception mode. All the other modes were fine, right? As long as you balance it properly, and that's something you have to keep in mind. If you've never used a gimbal before, you got to spend some time balancing the sucker. It might take 5 minutes, right? Hopefully not more than that, but I mean, this is the nature of gimbals. You got to balance those guys. And if you come from using one of those cell phone gimbals that balance themselves, well, this is gonna be a bit different because it's a 3-in-1. You just got to do the work there, right? So something to keep in mind. When it comes to battery life, they are advertising it as 20 hours. Yeah. I haven't quite pushed that far. I definitely used it, the same battery for more than 12 hours, absolutely, and it worked fine. There's still juice left, so I don't know if it comes to 20, but it's definitely going to come close to 20, so that's good. And yeah, so like I said, I wanted to push it with my Micro Four Thirds systems. It definitely worked for most of my lenses. Very happy. So keep in mind, you got to balance it, all that good stuff. If you are shooting with bigger cameras, this is probably not going to work for you. But if you are shooting with those cameras, you definitely should step up to, if you want to stick with Gudsen, go with the AirCross 2. I did a video on that one, or go with the Air, right? If you really have a heavy duty camera, those will work fine, and you shouldn't have any problems there. So yeah, all in all, that's that. Like I said, price wise, this is a good price. $200 for something like this is a good price. If you are an entry shooter, you've never used a gimbal before, this can work very nicely for you. It's not too intimidating. Obviously, having being a $200 gimbal, it doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles that the bigger models have. You don't have a menu, right? So you have to know what the buttons do. It's not too complicated because, again, there's not that many features. I mean, you have your sports mode, you have your inception mode, right? You have, well, I guess the regular mode. So it's got the basic mode, so you're good there, right? Also, you can use the app with this guy. Gudsen just released an update for their Master app, I think it's called, and it now includes this guy. So that's how you, you log in to the gimbal, and you can remotely operate it like I showed in the video, which is pretty cool. You can set different, basically control motion features and all that stuff. Some of it Again, I don't know if it's my pre-release model or not, but some of it is a bit wonky, but I think that's gonna be resolved with some updates, but all in all, it works fine. So yeah, that's it, guys. All in all, I'm very happy with this guy. I think the price is great. I think if you are a micro four thirds shooter or below, so to speak, in terms of weight, I think you're gonna be fine. You can use this for professional gig, right? I would probably still want to go with the higher models just in case. But look, if money is a issue, as it is with a lot of people, I don't know, it is what it is. This can do the job for sure, absolutely. So I think that's it. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, tell your friends, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more. Thanks.